I'm Snehaa Ganesh Kumar, and I am a panelist for the STEM Without Boundaries 2020 Tech Series. So, some things that I'm going to talk about in this video are just how to go about the college admissions process, especially with coronavirus affecting this year, and just some tips to how to deal with that for people that are applying next year. I'm also going to talk about how to start and run a nonprofit, also anything else just regarding academic competitions, because I've competed in the National Spelling Bee, National Brain Bee, and the National Astrophysics Olympiad, and academic competitions are so much different than what a lot of people think they are, so just kind of breaking down what that's about. And lastly, just talking about what I want to do in college, which is study astrophysics. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about college. So first, I'm a rising freshman at UC Berkeley, and I'm going to be studying astrophysics there. So how I went about the college admissions process, I think is actually a really good lesson for a lot of people on how to not do it. So I was a victim to the mindset that Ivy Leagues are the best schools. And so I mostly actually only applied to privates. And I applied to UCs just as safety schools, even though that's not how it is at all. I realized that afterwards. But I just fell prey to the entire mindset that private colleges create, and that's that for any major, just because of how elite or how small they are, that private colleges are the best. And after I got all my college decisions and had to make a solid decision on where I wanted to go, I chose UC Berkeley because I started to look at the program that I was interested in compared to the actual college. And UC Berkeley's one of the top public universities, but the reason that I was valuing Ivy Leagues over it is because they were privates. But after I did more research, I found out that astrophysics programs, UC Berkeley is basically one of the best ones, on par with other big private ones like MIT or Yale. So I thought I'd go with Berkeley because we actually got the same level of education for about half the price, and it was also a bigger college, and so I just thought it would better suit my method of learning because I like competitiveness, which there's a lot of in UC Berkeley, but I felt that going to a really small college might be way too competitive for me and make me feel pressured to get the best grades when grades actually aren't going to be the best thing for my career. The best thing is going to be getting a lot of research experience, doing a lot of internships. So I thought that Berkeley would be the best for me to get to my next step, which is grad school. So this is how the process that I went through after I got my decisions. That is what I would say is the best way to go about it from the beginning. So for people who are looking to apply to college next year, I think use this time, this downtime that we have. Obviously, try and get started on some essays. Plan out a schedule. First, get some main ideas. What really makes you you? Try and pick apart the parts of those, and it's more personal to each person. So I would say my tip for college essays is just to be entirely yourself and to not say anything to seem impressive, because a lot of the most important parts of what make a person aren't always the most impressive, and they might not even be things that you're proud of, but those are things that college admissions officers need to hear. If they read your essay and they learn something new about you other than your resume that you've attached, that essay has served its purpose. So that's what I'd keep in mind in writing college essays. But in terms of planning it out, I would just say use this time to figure out what you want out of college. Whether you're undecided in a major, then that means that when you go to college, You want a program where you can freely take a breadth of classes and still be able to major in something at the end. If you know what you want to do, you want to look at programs that are best for that and value the cost that you're going to pay for that with the quality of the program. Because for people that are looking to go to grad school, the prestige of your undergrad school barely matters for where you want to go to grad school. It's more about what research you do, what opportunities you get, and your grades do matter, but that's only one factor out of many. So look at what you want out of college and think about what qualities in a program would help you get there. And look at programs that you think would be able to get you those factors to help you get what you want out of college. So yeah, just use this time to kind of brainstorm that. Just write down like a map of things that you think you might want to do during college. And keep in mind that this is going to change, but you want at least the starting point of your college to be what you wanted it to be, so you can work your way up from there. So I think that is my advice on college. Feel free to contact me if you have any more questions. I'm more than happy to discuss about this and everything else that I'm going to talk about in this video. So moving on, I also wanted to talk about how careers aren't as fixed as they seem. And that's something that when you major in something in college, it makes you feel like that's what I need to do for a career. But it's not really that way. And I grew up thinking that I wanted to be a cardiologist first. And I thought, I'm going to be a cardiologist. That's it. And then I thought that I would be an astrophysicist because that's something that I absolutely love. But I realized the more and more things that I started to seek out that wasn't the only thing I was interested in. So I don't know what my career is going to look like. Maybe I'm going to be an astrophysics researcher and at the same time run my nonprofit and maybe consult for other nonprofits, be a professional speaker. I'm not sure, but I know for me personally that I would love to have in my daily job a variety of not only STEM focused things, but also humanities and like social justice focused things. So when you guys are looking into what you want to do in college, I just want to make sure that you're not limiting yourself to one option, and know that obviously don't go for too many things, but if there's 2 or 3 things that you're really interested in, try and look for a career path that combines both of them or all 3 of them, right? You don't even need to look for a career that's already been made. You can make your own career, and there are plenty of opportunities available for that now. So don't feel limited. Moving on, I want to talk about how to start and run a nonprofit. So what I want to start off by saying 2 things. First, I'll talk about how I started my nonprofit, and second, an issue that's being talked about a lot now in the social justice space. So let's start off by saying how I founded my organization. My nonprofit is called the Queen Bee Project, and I founded it almost exactly a year ago. Actually, we're about to hit our anniversary. But we have a dual mission, and that is to empower women in male-dominated fields. And our other mission is to bring awareness to the mental health in academic competitions. So 2 very different missions, but 2 that were very dear to me, and I couldn't choose, so I did them both. So Team Queen is the women in male-dominated fields, and Team B is the one regarding academic competitions, which is why it's called the Queen Bee Project. So feel free to check out our website. It's queenbeeproject.org or at the Queen Bee Project on Instagram. We're hiring right now, so if you guys are interested in applying, check out the details in our Instagram page. But moving forward, tips that I would say about starting an organization is something that's going on right now in the nonprofit space is that a really well-known organization, Period Movement, is being exposed for a lot of things that her founder, Nadia Okamoto, did in order to bring period movement to success. And what she did is when a lot of organizations tried to partner with her, specifically Black and Indigenous people of color led menstrual justice organizations tried to partner with Period. In their contract, they had to become a chapter, and in that contract was a clause that actually made them dissolve their organization. So it is almost like an elimination tactic of other organizations to kind of come to the top. And while most organizations don't take this drastic of a measure to come to the top, it is a mindset that prevails in a lot of people that want to start organizations. And I think that if you want to come to the top and be the best, start a business. But if you're going to start a nonprofit organization, it shouldn't be to boost your resume. It shouldn't be for college admissions. It should be solely because you're passionate about that topic and you feel that you have something to bring to that space. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because if you guys are thinking about starting a nonprofit for college admissions, first of all, keep in mind that it's really easy for colleges to see if you're doing it out of a place of passion compared to just doing it to boost your resume. And second, it's really not beneficial to other organizations in the space that are doing this very sincerely because they get discredited too when another organization in the same space might be exposed for performative and corporate activism. So I just wanted to say those two things before I started. But in terms of how to start and run a nonprofit, first, if you want to become an official nonprofit, which is a 501c3, we are on our way to becoming a 501c3. We're planning on registering with Hack Club Bank because the independent filing process to become a 501c3 in California is really complicated, requires a lot of paperwork to maintain, and also costs a lot of money. So we're not there yet as an organization. But for the meantime, we are registering with Hack Club Bank. We'll get we'll get a 501c3 status, and we're able to accept money from sponsors or partners legally, like an official 501c3 organization would be able to do. The only difference is that they would take 7% of our revenue, and they'll file all our paperwork for us too. So we're choosing to do that until we can register independently, and I think it's a great option. But in terms of how to just start an organization overall, a mistake that I feel that I made personally is that I feel like I should have ruminated over the ideas I had a bit longer before I started it. Because the first, I'd say 2 to 3 months of my nonprofit was just me getting it together, figuring out how my team would be structured, and figuring out exactly what I wanted my mission to be. So spend a good amount of months, I'd say, really formulating a mission statement and figuring out how you want your team to be structured, right? Because it's going to be different for each organization. You might need different team roles for different missions. So that's really dependent on what you want to do. But make sure to reach out to other people in like similar areas as what you want to start your organization in. Because likely they've gone through what you're going through right now and their help is really, really valuable. In terms of how to just run it successfully, I'd say, again, a problem that I faced and a lesson that I learned the hard way is that you need to be, your mental health needs to be really, really solid in order to be able to run an organization like this. Because not only is it a lot of work, you're also going to get criticized. People are going to accuse you of just doing it for college apps, and it can be really, really draining. So I personally went through a couple of months where I just had no motivation to run this organization. I just felt completely drained, and I was not in a good place. So my point is, make sure that you take care of yourself first before you start an organization to take care of other people. It's really, really important. So I think that's all I have for starting and running a nonprofit. Moving on, the last thing that I would like to talk about is academic competitions. So I mentioned previously that I competed in the National Spelling Bee and the National Brain Bee, National Astrophysics Olympiad. So I've been doing spelling since kindergarten, and I just worked my way up and worked my way up and made it to runner up in 2016. So whenever I say this, everyone is like, "Oh my God, wow, you're the runner up of the Scripps National Spelling Bee." But there are so many parts that go into people that do these competitions that a lot of people don't know about. And a big part of my organization is bringing awareness to that. So I just want to talk about a little bit of what I went through and what I learned and the lessons that I picked up, the experiences that I got out of these academic competitions. So I went to the National Spelling Bee for the first time in 7th grade, and I got 4th, and then I was runner-up in my 8th grade year. So the first year I went, if I'm being honest, up till then I had studied a lot for the spelling bee, but a lot of it was because my parents pushed me to, because I was good at it. It didn't really come from a place of me being passionate about spelling. And because of that, when I got 4th in my 7th grade year, I felt really, really guilty because I felt that there were spellers that had put more effort into this than me. And I felt that a lot of spellers that got out before me were better because I genuinely wasn't that good in 7th grade, but I got 4th because I was able to crack all the words that I got until that point. And it really just made me think about how the rankings in competitions really, really affect people. Because if you think about it, everyone that goes into a competition, they want to win. And as you get to higher and higher levels, like the national levels, the people that make it that far have probably dedicated years to get to that point. And that's years dedicated to trying to win something. But 99% of people that compete in these competitions don't win. So it's really not the most ideal structure for people that want to do these competitions because 99% of them, the people that don't win, while the effects are going to vary, are going to be mentally affected by them losing in some way. And I've said this a lot of times, a lot of different places, but the biggest thing that I've picked up out of all the competitions I've done is one, time management skills. It's the only way I'm able to study astrophysics and run a nonprofit and do a bunch of other things at the same time and still have time to rest and recuperate. So time management skills, the spelling bee has taught me that invaluable skill. It's also gave me some of the best friends that I have. I'm a pretty social person, but some of my best friends are the ones I met at the spelling bee and only meet once a year. We just text the rest of the time. They're amazing people, and they've driven me to be a better person, to look at things more critically. We've grown together as people, and I think I'm probably really biased in saying this, but they're some of the best people that you're going to meet. So if I look back on this, me versus someone who made it to semifinals in this National Spelling Bee versus someone who won, the experiences and skills that we gained are the same, regardless of our ranking. All your ranking really is how you performed on a given day, in a given set of words or questions that were different for each person. But people look into it so much. And even now, I'm trying to get rid of this. But when I introduce myself, I say, I'm the runner-up of the Scripps National Spelling Bee, even though that in no way defines who I am as a person and the work I do and the things I'm passionate about. So moral of the story is whether it be academic competitions or just any competitive setting in your college or high school, look at it with a critical lens and realize that you're not here to compete with anyone for the most part, but to gain skills and experiences that will help you later on in life. So that is it for my STEM Without Boundaries panel. Again, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you so much.